oh, with the tarot cards, I have pulled out the Knight of Swords. Now, this guy's normally Gemini, air energy, gender neutral, really, but it is male in energy, being the Knight of Swords. And it's a call to action. Call to action for your wish fulfillment for the High Priestess. And you've got this energy of no fucks given. And also here, memory lane, inner child, your soul's calling, Scorpio sun, and generosity, balancing all energies. Oh, somebody had a broken heart in the past, judgments being called on that, towers fell, hangman. Oh, there was a collaboration. Oh, all the deception. And I think somebody out there had a lot of trashy energy thrown over them, made to look like the skank of the day. Maybe you were. But also, maybe it was an illusion casted by some disgusting magic that no longer works and will not hold you back in this lifetime. You've probably had, oh, I heard somebody saying it the other day, very good reader, pretty privilege. And you will know, you probably will have noticed at times in your life you have been treated like you've got privileges because of how you look, or you got privileges because of the color of your skin, and people have treated you like shite because of it. And that's just not okay. It actually creates the opposite effect when people behave like that towards people. Now, the other day I was speaking on that sovereign citizen, the story going on in the news about possible deception, but programming. I mean, that's what it is. We get programmed by news, and anybody who's about to tune in to the 6 o'clock would understand what I'm talking about. And what is the 6 o'clock? It comes on every night. It activates the reptilian part of our brain, which is the fear mongering part of it. So, yeah, I watched a protest go down in Australia. Apparently, we were protesting against immigration. Maybe we're protesting against mass immigration, like what we saw happen in America. We've really got no issues with immigration on the whole, I would say, considering we're a multicultural melting pot in every major city in Australia. Well, anyway, I know the state that I live in is, and yeah, we've got no problems with race, ethnicity. We all come together, and it's not an issue. It's a non-issue. Everybody suggesting. I'm really unsure what yesterday was about. I don't think it was about Pauline Hanson's White Nation, and I don't think we should get upset about her, Pauline Hanson. Why? Because she was the only one that stood up and said, I'm not getting that injected into me, and you can all. And she said it to her constituents, which I assume constituents, so I'm channeling, would mean her, us, the people, we, the people, that are required to stand together at this time and not separated. So good to see that there were all ethnicities there at the march yesterday. I witnessed snippets of people getting deported from America en masse. That just looked like cattle herding and really treating people like they weren't human in any way, and that's just inappropriate and it's not possible, whilst we can't change anything that's happening on the other side of the world, whilst we can understand it's happening for those people because they put themselves in that timeline for that to happen and for them to go through those experiences, much like each of us did. Anyone listening right now, we've all put ourselves in in our positions. We chose our parents, we chose our paths. Some of us chose level 1000 in terms of difficulty, and others were supposed to go through that difficulty until a certain time in life, and then moving into lower nodes of it. It depends on if you've chosen the spiritual path or not. And I guess if you're tuning into this, you've probably chosen a more spiritual path. And whether that's esoteric spiritual or the love and light spiritual, we all know John Lennon said, there's just one thing they can't do, and one thing they can't do. The stories about love and light, all in the religions and stuff. It's true, and it is. It is true. Love is, it is the creation of authenticity, therefore holds a higher vibrational frequency than authenticity. And I guarantee it was AI that decided that authenticity was a higher vibration than love, and it just, caught on. But just because we hear it doesn't mean it's true, and just because I'm saying this doesn't mean it's true for you. Whatever's true for you is true for you. And that doesn't have to be anybody else's truth but your own. Okay, what guide deck have I got? I've got Ancestral Wisdom, and this is a Australian natives creation. And it gives duality within the cards. So on these cards, we're going to have two differing energies. So one of curiousness and one of insecurity. Okay, next card, proud, and the other energy is ashamed. Now, this shame energy that has been perpetuated into the population used to be fed on like that was an energy. This is how I actually worked out mastery of emotion and being able to remain calm in certain situations. So, an interesting thing, I was sitting and I felt an aggregore of shame come towards me. And because I'm so sensitive to energies, I worked out that that's not my energy, because I make a point of doing my shadow work and I feel my energies. Yes, have I felt shame before in my life? Yes. Have I processed those emotions so I can recognize when an energy comes towards me that does not belong to me? Yes. And are aggregores and emotions like that, are they a trick set up by the enemy? Yes. And they are. People, esoterically, feelings of shame and feelings of anger, and they can actually be created as thought forms and moved into somebody's energy space. I've got protections up, so that doesn't actually happen to me anymore. However, before I knew what was happening, I would feed into all sorts of anger, just whatever emotion. And I mean, that's what we're here on earth to do. We're here to feel every emotion. But I do believe that it does come a point when we've got to be able to overcome it. Something I've really been speaking up about recently is an attack that happened back in January. So, say throughout my life, I've had a few boyfriends that wanted to hurt me. And it wasn't actually them, it was an energy coming through them. But Back in February, this attack happened to me in a space where I feel quite safe in. I've got no reason to feel like I'm in any danger. However, a wizard got in contact with me the previous night, and he quite proudly told me he was a wizard and that he had created unprecedented circumstances starting back in 2016 of the supernatural proportions, and apparently the police were after him and whatever. I didn't actually realize until I felt a very heavy energy enter my home after being in discussions with him, which I did say, oh, excuse me for being a cat in a cage ready to scratch, because I don't get people reaching out to me like this or saying that they're going to help me, which actually what he meant by help me was help me get moved on from this existence. As it turned out, the dark energy that came through the night before as I was falling asleep, a more tuned in me would have gone and done the deep pendulum clearing and everything like that. But I think sometimes things happen for a reason. It wasn't pleasant, but it was an experience that had to be had so I could turn around and tell the story. Because I could actually tell you 5 or 6 other times where I have escaped with my life intact when it was under threat. However, this one is just so obvious. What happened was it was an energy sent towards the house. And look, I'm not the kind of woman that's going to be told to cook some eggs. So if you think Once Were Warriors, has anybody ever seen that movie? Do you remember that movie from the 80s? Was it the 80s or the 90s? It was a very violent depiction of the beautiful Maori people, that we've got in this land. And it was an ugly depiction of them. And a massive scene was, cook me some fucking eggs, woman. And no way was she cooking him eggs, And so he really got me a perler, actually, because I played right into it. And then when I realised what was coming, which was a dark demonic force had entered somebody who's not sovereign within themselves, but I wasn't even sovereign at that time, because I was like, I ain't cooking no eggs. You know what I mean? Like, I took the energy of anger, or with the thought form of anger, but it angered me because I hold myself of a certain respect and I had boundaries, basically. But my boundaries got pushed, and I realised I was actually in danger that morning in my own home. How dare this wizard have put that energy out there to come and attack me in a safe space? I call trespass, I demand restitution, and I call judgment. And if the eyes of the law won't look at, that's fine. There are higher powers that are universal laws that are aware of what's been broken here. And it will, well, it already is being accounted for. It was very impulsive and not cautious at all. But anyway, I ended up rolling out a window, luckily with my telephone, and scaling a fence and managing with the last 2 or 3% that was in my phone to get an Uber and make my escape out of my own sanctuary. So how many women get lost to domestic violence every year? I'd like to ask that question. And how many of these domestic violence situations that have destroyed the man who's hurt his partner, like killed his partner, and actually 2 people are really suffering there. How many have been perpetuated by similar circumstances? Riddle me this, Riddler, because somebody else sending an energy towards us, creating devastation in our lives, is not okay, not appropriate. And will be held to account. Now, excuse me if I get a little bit annoyed about it, but if you have a look at the statistics that we were experiencing, which the white ribbon community used to actually say before 2020, that one woman every week was getting maimed in her own home by someone she loved, and he loved her too. I'm sorry for all the victims that that's happened to. I'm glad to be a survivor, a victim. No, I'm not. I'm none of those. I'm a spiritual being that actually witnessed what's going on here, and I believe that if we are aware, they can no longer do what they've done in the past if there is a strong awareness within communities. And in addition to that, we can really reduce the rate of domestic violence that happens in homes. And it's respect between male and female. And if you know that you each have a healthy respect for each other, and you have a respect for your significant other, or even non-significant other, if there is respect within relationships, it doesn't have to be passionate respect. It just has to be mutual respect when you're sharing a house with another male or female, or if it's a same-sex relationship, whatever. That there's respect is really important. And if there is a lack of respect within relationships, and how difficult would it actually be for males, considering males have been taught basically all their lives not to be a girl. Don't cry, you're behaving like a girl. You know, everything that they've been told to, how could they not find hate within? Hold. I can't. What? Minor distraction. Yes, well, let's pull a card because I did get distracted there. But it's about mutual respect in relationships. And why wouldn't we respect other people? Astonished. I pulled out the card astonished, and on the other side of astonished is vulnerable. And that's the issue that I'm speaking about. And it is a vulnerability that we have in terms of energies coming at us and us not recognizing perhaps these aren't ours. Perhaps there is a force that's working through and creating situations like that. And I do put out a wish of nurture to everybody and an optimistic view of, with awareness comes strength and confidence that, yeah, we can definitely overcome anything like that. No coven, no warlock that claims to be a phoenix, which really surprises me what kind of phoenix energies have been. Seriously, a phoenix has absolutely been torn down to the bottom and risen their way up. But actually, it makes sense when, yeah, all right. But it's ended up with hatred for women, which is quite disappointing because I'm just thinking of the person who approached me. Have fun. I just pulled another card from another deck. Have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. All right, yeah, I did get pretty intense there on what I was talking about. But moving forward, I've just pulled out the information for the ashamed card. So I'll read it out to you. oh dear, that didn't work. Ashamed, oh dear, that didn't work out, did it? This was not, as they say, the desired outcome, to end up ashamed. Thank goodness not many picked up on it, but you did. They are all of the understanding that you try so hard to make things work, yet the hardest marker is you. Why is that? Why are you so ashamed when you don't meet your own standards? Why can't you take it in your stride when you fall, when you fail? Is it guilt? Is it your pride? Everyone else accepts that you're not infallible, so why not you? Time to pick yourself up off the floor, accept that you gave it a good crack and let it go. See how Australian that is. You gave it a good crack, but it's time to let it go. Get rid of the foolish notions of pride. Learn from your experience, and most importantly, forgive yourself so you can move forward. When we forgive ourselves or forgive others, we're actually cutting the cords of any attachment to it. I think I've been harping on about this situation for a little while, but yeah, being able to cut the cords, leave it in the past. These kind of energies that previously had access no longer have any more access. So whilst forgiveness is for yourself, you got to forgive yourself and move forward. So the opposite, absolute equal and opposite of ashamed, is proud. And I've just got a starseed message as well popped up. What lights you up? So, and this is proud from the oracles. All right, being proud is a noble quality which is often confused with ego. The ability to honor oneself is seen to be pretentious. Oh, and isn't it like anybody will tear a tall poppy down if they see that proud energy? Very Australian thing to do, I think, which is ridiculous. Like, you should be able to go, I love myself. I'm proud of myself. And really feel it and mean it and be proud. We compare it to that of a peacock, but in reality, peacocks get to wander around on, pretty high quality grass because they sit, they walk around in, what is it? A lot of royalty have peacocks in their gardens. That's all I was getting on. All right. With many naysayers around you, you are having difficulty finding your sense of magnificence. These people lack confidence in themselves. They are worried that you may steal the limelight because of your ability to shine, and there is a saboteur amongst them leading the rest of to this conclusion. These people will realize your intent was only to ensure that good leadership occurred. Those that matter understand you at a deeper level and know that your intent has only ever been honourable. Wow, that's really interesting. There is no shame in being proud, and being proud is not shameless. Somewhere in the middle of humility, that's the bullseye we are striving for. Yeah, because even if you're proud, you can hold humility as well. Some jerk in the comments. To Yeah, I can't really read it, but he wants some fucking eggs. You want me to cook you some fucking eggs, bitch? Best scene in that movie was when the dad had taken. Yeah, yeah. I I remember seeing it as a child. Um, there's displeasure and contentment. Now, this is the Aboriginal ancestral wisdom. Mel Brown created that document. Document. These cards. They're pretty cool. I really can't believe how clued in that ashamed and proud one is. I think it's got something to do with the Once Were Warriors theme that occurred. And I've also got the Starseed Oracle here too, but I don't have the book for this one. Warrior Woman, have you answered your deepest calling? Yes, I have. Yes, I just did. We can change the world. One thing Assange said was truth stops wars, and he wasn't wrong. He was responsible for actually getting things to come to a head in 2011 in, I think it was Afghanistan at the time. So truth does stop wars. Fascinated, repelled. So someone's either feeling fascinated or repelled at the moment. Number 20, card number 26. Things which fascinate some can repel others. It's ensuing we respectfully acknowledge that each of us may have differing opinions and honouring those differences regardless is the important thing. So what are we looking at when we're talking about indifference? I don't care, whatever. Who gives a toss? Sound familiar? It is, because you're just not interested in playing the games or ignoring the problem. Does it simply go away when you ignore the problem? Are you giving someone the silent treatment, or does it run deeper? Years of hardship for little reward have blunted your enthusiasm. No, not mine. An uncaring other person has left you cold and defeated. No, the indifferences shown to you have robbed you of your core emotion, and now you're infected with the same disease. Well, that's it, isn't it? Hurt people, hurt people. Hurt people need to heal. Or just pull their heads in. I saw this guy going off at a crossing lady today, and I was like, oi, don't be doing that. Take it home, and don't go take it home and take it out on your wife. But you're going to have to find a way to, you're obviously frustrated with life, so if that's the case, find a way to process those emotions and not put them on other people. Because a very unusual situation to see somebody yelling at a crossing lady. Honestly, where do people get off? Ladies trying to do her job. A lot of our crones are doing it their way, and they're stuck in their ways. I don't know what she did to upset the guy. I didn't even care. Just take it home. On your bike, pack it up. You're not yelling at the crossing lady. She's our champion. You know what I mean? We just are not doing that. But interestingly enough, while that anger was in the air, there's another lady that walked up and she goes, "What's he doing?" And I said, "It's okay." But she stood there and saw him, carrying on. And she goes, "Rah, rah, rah." And she just started yelling at him, and she had a German Shepherd with her, and she was trying to be a bit menacing with her German Shepherd. And just all the anger that was around, it was like, being the witness to the anger and not actually getting involved in the anger, I think, is kind of important. And the main thing there is when we know what it's like to be yelled at and the feeling of being yelled at. I used to get anxiety while I was getting yelled at, and it used to put me into quite a state, but now I can hear anger and not actually have to get involved in it. It's like, wow, that person's on some shit, And you can look at it from a very Zen point of view if you're in a Zen point of view mood. I mean, we're human, we run all the gamuts of emotions, so sometimes we can look from a very enlightened state. I'd like to think I'm able to look from a very much enlightened state at more situations that play out in front of me than I have been able to previously, because my main I'm fire energy with my star signs. Also, I've got them all, as we all do, but mainly fire sign and water. So with the fire sign, I've always been quick to react, quick to rah, and quick to anger. But I guess with old age, like crone age, I'd like to think I've got more wisdom than to just quickly respond so quickly, no longer so quick to anger. And that was the irony of when, in the last couple of years, I've really had some buttons pressed to try to get me to act the fool quite, quite purposely, particularly when the ganging was going on quite heavily. People can call it bypassing of emotions when you don't respond, but that's just somebody who's being manipulative, I believe. When I look at boundaries that were crossed, and the expected result was anger, you know. But when you realize somebody's trying to lead you down a path, you can walk down it with them for a little bit and go, yeah, I just wanted to see where you were trying to lead me. I'm not fucking going there. Are you a dickhead? You know what I mean? Particularly after what happened back in February, really. But actually, something else happened as well. There was this woman did a ritual. Oh gosh, any animals that get hurt. Like now that we're in the age of Aquarius, I can understand, yes, apparently this went on for X amount of time in the Piscean age of darkness, and these fools were doing it under the cover of darkness. After she'd done this ritual, I experienced heavy, heavy spiritual attack. And it was coming from her too. And I said to her, and she put up a post, oh, sometimes you just want to scream. And I was like, because I said to her, when you are getting spiritually attacked, that's when you step into your power, your balance, and you bring all the powers that you have from heaven and the underworld, and you bring them together and you get them to forcefully remove the corrupted energies that are entering into your life that don't belong. The result of her staying up all night and doing this weird, whatever she did, it was a ritual. All I saw was there was blood on a statue and a big cauldron lit, and she seemed pretty proud of it. So she's taken photographs of it and put it up. Obviously, super, super elite, untouchable, whatever, whatever. Because I ended up getting a holiday straight after that, going down to the beach, going to, like on the peninsula where I live, it's just beautiful in summer. So I ended up going on a holiday I wasn't even going to go on. And it was great. Like sometimes, things will happen in our life, and what are the purposes of them? Things like that, I'd say it's that woman's insecurity. I think she feigns to be religious, but what a lot of these, that woman in particular, and she is part of a little coven of hoes. She's got a mate on TikTok, and what they do is they are attacking people, like, pulling out a little shiv and doing shit like what happened to me. I was trying to be nice. I gave that woman money because she was like, oh, I need money, blah, blah, blah. Even boasted about getting her payment doubled in one of her comments after she performed that ritual on me. But anyway, which kind of is additional evidence there that whatever she was doing with the cauldron and the photographs of calling on the ancestors, yeah, no, no love. But anyway, got around and saying that she was being attacked. I would see stuff like that. Like she came in initially and she picked the name, what is it? Messages from the Divine, which is mine. Messages direct from the Divine. Indigo and Gypsy were the two names that I had said all my life as a child that I would name my children those names. And she turned up wearing all of my stuff. And I was like, what's that about? Like, it wasn't really until I just gathered everything together and went, all right, I've got these hard copies of this because, you take your evidence because fuck letting people fuck you over like that, especially people who think they're the ultimate powers. Like when you're witnessing these women claim that they're being attacked and it's them, it's them. The funniest part was I got from my guides, it's like they were saying, oh, we're getting attacked, we're getting attacked. And it's like, I think they were trying to suggest that I was doing, but I was just nowhere to be seen. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, pieces of shit, are you? Like disgusting, harpy, horrible hoe energies that are particularly picking on vulnerable, what they deem to be vulnerable members of the spiritual community or people that follow them, and also the way they're angling it, they act like they're getting gang stalked, they're getting this and they're getting that, and they're calling those people into them. So they're people that are already in a vulnerable position, basically. That's what they're trying to do. Anyway, that hoe was trying to do a destiny swap. Whatever. Whatever, love. I hope that worked out for you with all your demons and whatever you've got covered on you and your human trafficking that you try to, yeah. Oh, I shouldn't say that, should I? But basically, there's just some things that you can't get away with and claim that other people are attacking you, you know? Yes, I get the, what's it called? The irony. But when I know my integrity and that I would never do that to somebody, and I haven't done that to anybody, no, I can pretty confidently say with integrity, fuck those people. And there's a light flashing at the moment in the garden. Truth revealed. I am a truth speaker. It's gotten me into a lot of trouble over the years, but no longer. I mean, we should be entitled to be able to speak and let people have a glimpse under the veil, because there's some people that see under the veil quite easily, and some people are quite passionate about it, and like myself. Now, being passionate, which is the opposite of indifference. Let me read it out. Being passionate is a wonderful feeling. It provides us with the energy to move forward while appreciating life for what it is and what it can actually. I should get my glasses. And for what it can be in the future. But your fear of passion is confused with obsession. Understand that these are two different things. Passion and obsession are not the same. Connecting to your passionate self does not mean giving up control or becoming vulnerable. Instead, you get to control what you want to give and what you want to receive in return. Practice by slowly giving a bit more of yourself in the situation and then increasing that energy as you feel more confident in time. You will look back and realize how much energy you wasted through fear of losing yourself to passion. Oh, that's wonderful. Cool. All right. Well, this was really just expressing of emotions. I am going to pull one for the crowd. So you guys here in the chat, somebody is feeling shocked. Yeah, what's the total opposite of that? You're also feeling amazed. So, shock can quickly morph into amazement and lead us to wonder about the possibilities we didn't know existed. Let's focus on the amazed one for you. Being amazed seems like words star-crossed lovers use when they describe those early moments of learning about each other and wondering if this is the one they were waiting for. Yet then for some, I am going to have to get my glasses. Anyway, star-crossed lovers. Gosh, I remember falling in love. I haven't fallen in love for a really long time. Like, that'd be 10 plus years, wouldn't it? Falling in love was a beautiful thing. Anyway, wrapping it up. I do have my glasses somewhere. And also I've got some more cards now that I've come inside. So we'll pull another one. You got the love. Hadarian energy, codependency and boundaries. And also the star cards just come out of the tarot deck. And what's the star card in tarot? Alchemy of emotions. No, it's more this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Yes, star energy is just beautiful energy in the tarot deck. One of the best cards. And justice. Okay. And also no fucks given. That's the 8 of Wands. Characterizing Leo energy. Charging forward. No fucks given. I love that. And also the strength card. Poverty. And also that being a memory. Theft. And that's Page of Cups energy I've just pulled there. King of Wands. And when we're talking Page of Cups, that's somebody offering you a dirty fish in a cup. That's also learning as well. And then pulling out Balancing Act. So the Two of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. You're in your Queen of Pentacles era. We've got a Knight of Wands. And the King of Swords. Yeah, just that King of Swords is so powerful, the way is able to just rip through bullshit. And also pulling out another card now, being handed a cup and just being able to look at it and decide whether it's good or it's bad. And making that judgment call after you've gone within and done the healing work. King of Pentacles style. Anyway, all the best. Have a lovely evening. Thank you for listening. And yes, enjoy your day.